Well, isn't it interesting, Dan, that we hear so much about levelling up, don't we? It was the most used phrase in the government's lexicon. But there have been absolutely crazy scenes up here and precious little action. The army have had to be brought in. Your Home Affairs editor, Mark White, he's been showing us all day what Storm Arwen's now doing as well. I mean, GBNews presenter and the Conservative MP, Deanna Davidson, on Sunday, extraordinarily, she continued, bless her, broadcasting from a hotel that was offering services to her patch in Bishop Auckland, with this hotel acting as a community hub for those affected. Really nice to see, but it shouldn't have to happen, Dan, because I think these storms, for me at least, have raised two really crucial questions. The first being, would people, as you say, that have been left without power, had it been London without the capability to heat, power or shower within their own homes? I'm not convinced of that, Dan. I'm not convinced it would be. And I don't think you have to be the Daily Mirror or somewhere to the left of Jeremy Corbyn to notice that. Because that's where the nation's media and political class spend their time, right? As you say, that's where the decision makers in London are. Had it happened there, there'd have been a public inquiry announced by now. And I think ultimately that's what needs to happen. And it calls into question the whole premise of that levelling up slogan. Can you ever meaningfully level up in a country that's as centralised around London as ours? And the second really important point, Dan, I think, is on our reliance on forms of energy that are soon to be, banned or deemed incompatible with the government's net zero agenda. It struck me how a reliance on fossil fuels that have now been, widely condemned. What would we have done, Dan, without actually those crucial access to diesel, access to gas? When you don't have those things pumping through your home, when actually there's a disruption at the grid and we can't get through. You've got people in Northumberland, Dan. It's absolutely awash with wind turbines there, but they're no use to man, no beast at a time like this. You've got people in their cars charging their phones, using the diesel engine to power their phones to call the national grid and say, hang on a minute, where's my electricity? And meanwhile, the Prime Minister is moonlighting in a second job as leader of the Green Party, it seems. So all of these things, I think, are called into question now. And ultimately, people up here just want to know, Dan, that their Christmas is going to be as good and nice as the one that Boris Johnson had last year in number 10 Downing Street.
Darren, what's your take on the breaking news of the night?
I can't believe it. Honestly, I am like you. I am spitting feathers. I've just listened to you speaking to Nigel Farage there, and I completely agree with him. I think if it might not be the end of Boris Johnson, but I certainly think it's the beginning of the end. Because if there's one thing that this country cannot stand more than anything else, it's a hypocrite. It's a hypocrite that stood there and said to the British people, you need to forgo your Christmas. It might be your last Christmas with Granny. You might want to hug them close, but no. You must forgo Christmas because of the public health emergency. And despite that, we hear that they were enjoying wine and cheese in number 10 Downing Street and laughing about it at a press conference. I mean, that's extraordinary.